The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There was a Maisa that I was extremely taken by. It was just written up l'chvei the first yard site of Moran Sarah Torah Chaim Zecher Tzadik v'Kodesh Levracha. And afterwards, I want to explain to you what struck me about the Maisa. Reb Chaim once recalled that his father, the Steipler, put out his last sefer just shortly before he passed away. And the Steipler didn't receive a single letter with a comment or even a question about his sefer. Apparently people knew that he was very feeble and they didn't want to burden him with correspondence. But Reb Chaim says, my father, the Steipler, was deeply pained. In fact, one day when I went to see him, the Steipler said, Chaim, I still haven't received a single comment. I haven't received a single kash on my new sefer. It's clear to me that no one is reading it. He repeated this comment every day. Reb Chaim said, I didn't tell my father that the people simply don't want to trouble him, don't want to trouble you with questions because of how you feel, but the distress touched Reb Chaim's heart of his father. So Reb Chaim says one day he hit upon an idea. And when he went to a koil, he went to a yid, Reb Amos Tabachnik, who was a Meiredik Talmud Chacham and who was close to the Steipler. And he asked him, send in a comment on my father's new sefer. Send in something to my father on the new sefer. He went, he found Reb Amos, he told him this plan, he explained the situation, and he said, please write to my father with a comment. A few days later, when I visited my father, he greeted me, the Steipler greeted me with great joy and exclaimed, Chaim, Chaim, Baruch Hashem! I finally received a comment on my new sefer. Reb Amos sent me a question about something I wrote there. Zokt Reb Chaim, my father's joy was enormous. In and of itself, it's a spectacular Maisa of Kibbud Av. But it dawned on me, if this Maisa happened towards the end of the life of the Steipler, that means that Reb Chaim was already well into his 50s, well into one of our Gedolei Yisrael. There were many things Reb Chaim could have done when he saw his father's distress. He could have explained to him, of course they're learning the Sefer. They just don't want to trouble you. Of course people are learning it. He could have given a potpourri of explanations, all of which would have been perfectly suitable. Reb Chaim wasn't 15 or 16 at the time. He was well into his 50s already. And yet Reb Chaim thought it was on his mind. This won't make my... Every answer that he could think of, but what's the answer that will make my father feel absolutely the best? Which is it that will fulfill the umness of Kibbud Av V'Eim on the highest level? So he came up with a plan to go to the koil, ask somebody to learn the sefer, to ask a shayla, to send it in the mail. So the time, why? Because if Kibbud Av V'Eim is your umness, you're always thinking about it. Kibbud Av V'Eim is not about getting by. It's about what will make the Steipler the happiest. Zokt Reb Chaim, his joy was enormous. I'm very taken by that Maisa for Reb Chaim, where every moment was Kol HaTorah Kula, already well into his 50s. That's how he performed the mitzvah on the highest level.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org